So, if we're to go off the multiple media reports coming out today that Ten Hag will be sacked and Manchester United have approached Kieran McKenna, with Kieran McKenna wanting the job, then we're to assume that Kieran McKenna will be the manager of Manchester United next season, although that's not confirmed, so I might be recording this video for absolutely no reason. But in today's video, we're going to deep dive into Kieran McKenna. We'll quickly and briefly go through his history, background, why INEOS may have picked him. We'll get into his tactics, his formation, the way he plays, what Man United players will be suited to Kieran McKenna's philosophy, who would likely potentially stay or go, how would he line up his current squad, and what kind of signings would Kieran McKenna probably approve under INEOS, and how could we potentially look next season. So we're going to break that down for you guys. And look, I'm no tactical, I'm no expert. I've watched a little bit of Ipswich, I've done a little bit of research. We're just going to keep it simple, to the point. Let me know if you like it. Do subscribe for more. But he started off his career at Spurs, but he had to retire at age 22 due to an injury. After that, he then went and did some research, got his coaching badges, did his education, and rejoined Spurs as head of academy performance analysis. Then soon after, started coaching the youth teams. And in 2015, got promoted to coaching the under-18s youth team, in which they reached an FA Youth Cup semi-finals. We did a very good job at Spurs, which meant that Manchester United decided in August 2016 that they wanted Kieran McKenna to be their new under-18s manager. And in his second season, he won the Premier League North, which was a brilliant achievement, playing good football, and he had a good reputation with the Manchester United under-18s. They really liked Kieran McKenna. They really liked his style of play, his philosophy. They said he was a good communicator. And Jose Mourinho thought Kieran McKenna's a great coach and picked Kieran McKenna up to be his assistant coach in the 18-19 season. Even though Jose left, Ollie kept McKenna on, and of course Rangnick kept McKenna on for the month that they were both there together and tried to persuade McKenna to stay. Manchester United tried to persuade McKenna to stay. They did not want him to go to Ipswich because he was such a good asset to the club, is what they viewed. Although things weren't good under Ollie and Rangnick, and some players had leaks about McKenna, he was highly rated within Manchester United and of course in the coaching world, getting that job at Ipswich. Of course, I mean, he was obviously very, very highly rated at United, which we're going to continue on to the next bit. We're going to talk about what he did at Ipswich, and then we're going to get into, of course, his tactical approach. But Kieran McKenna took over Ipswich when they were 12th in League One in 2021, and he set a club record of 547 minutes without conceding a goal. He got back-to-back promotions. He got promoted to the Championship after scoring 101 goals and getting 98 points. He won 7 out of his first 8 games in the Championship, setting it off by storm, going top of the league at some point in the Championship against a very good Leicester side. And Kieran McKenna's team at Ipswich were the first team to do back-to-back promotions from League One to the Premier League since Southampton in 2022. And for that, McKenna won the LMA Manager of the Year. He won the Championship Manager of the Year. He played very good attacking football with Ipswich, scoring the most goals, but also defensively, they were pretty solid. So why might INEOS like McKenna? And then we'll dive into sort of more of a deep dive on his tactical approach build-up. So first of all, with Kieran McKenna, he's a young coach. I think INEOS sort of want that Arteta-like project manager. He's got a clear identity, clear tactical approach, and it is sort of suited to the Premier League. It's very similar to Ollie. It's very similar to Carrick, and people might be saying, oh, it's similar to Ollie, it's rubbish. I mean, he's got back-to-back promotions with it. I think when you look at the Manchester United squad and the players we currently have, there's a lot of similarities between the best profiles we have in the squad and how McKenna plays. 4-2-3-1. We're going to dive into it in more detail. And I think while Amorim is great, Amorim and Thiago Motta, who's just gone to Juventus, they play such a different style of football to the profiles we have. So 3 at the back, different. I mean, not even 3 at the back with Thiago Motta. I mean, that's a whole other story. That you couldn't do enough in one transfer window to even somewhat adapt to that style. Whereas with Kieran McKenna, you could get four key signings in for McKenna, and he could probably do what he wants to do with those 4 key signings off the basis of what the United squad have, which we're going to explain in more detail. But obviously as well with McKenna, he knows the club, he has experience at the club, working at the club, he knows what it's kind of like to be at Manchester United, which always helps. He's got a little bit of experience, Premier League experience, of course, with Mourinho and Solskjaer as well, and he has a strong connection to Carrington. INEOS want to put focus in the youth academy. That's something Dan Ashworth is a massive fan of, and I think, you know, with the under-18s probably being the best they've been since 1992, the best they've been in my lifetime. That's something you're going to want to focus on. Harry Amash, Shea Lacey, obviously Ten Hag's been applauded for Maino, Garnacho. McKenna will work well with them. He's obviously a lifelong Manchester United fan, is passionate about the club, which helps. He really likes Manchester United, and his philosophy suits the current squad profiles. You've got to think of, he likes to utilise the second striker. He likes an isolation winger, which is why Rashford did so well under Ollie. He sort of likes his fullbacks to go high, and it's definitely similar to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And while I'm not saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's football was amazing, we learned after Ollie was sacked that actually, the players were the problem, not Ollie. And when you could see what Ollie was trying to do, it somewhat worked in aspects. But to be fair, the recruitment around Ollie wasn't great. So let's talk about McKenna, his coaching, his tactics, and then we're going to talk about how he'd set up this current Manchester United side. So we're going to deep into it. First of all, McKenna favours sort of a 4-2-3-1 formation, which is what we did under Ollie, what we did last season under Ten Hag, but he switched to more of a 4-3-3 this season. So if you look at our most successful seasons in recent years, it's probably been a 4-2-3-1. He does a 2-4-4-2 build-up shape, and the midfield pivot is pretty crucial in build-up play, which is why I think we need a Fofana type midfielder to come in. The pivot does drop deep and build up. The fullbacks often go higher up, and the centre-back split, and the goalkeeper can sometimes act as a third player in build-up to overload it, and that can create sort of space in the overloads for INEOS for Manchester United to potentially have transition opportunities. When they attack, they like to stretch the width, and interestingly, left-back Leif Davies has 18 assists this season, and often I keep wanting to say INEOS, Ipswich have the ball. They sometimes turn into a back three where the left back would tuck in as a left centre back, the right back would tuck in as a right centre back, but we could do that left back United. Luke Shaw tuck in as a left centre back. Delo could push up, although he's not as good as Leif Davis going forward. They had Leif Davis basically acting as like a left winger essentially, and having 5 in attack with the right centre back tucking into form of 3 at the back in possession. And Ipswich excel at creating high chances. Ipswich are very good at getting up, exploiting the space, and creating cutback opportunities, which could be a system that actually might give Højlund some service as well. And Ipswich obviously play quite a high pressing style of football. One thing about McKenna, and one reason I think he could do well in the Premier League, there's question marks around his lack of experience and is he ready for Manchester United? It's a tough job. But one thing we've seen about McKenna is he has tactical flexibility, versatile within the 4-2-4 build-up shape. He can change sort of formations to 3-2-5 formations, 4-4-2s. He changes out of possession. If he's winning, if he's losing, he can change it up a little bit, which is something that Ten Hag hasn't done too much. And I think one of the frustrations with fans of Ten Hag is a slightly stubborn approach. I'm not saying that, McKenna is perfect or anything like that. I'm just highlighting the positives and sort of what he does as well. But interestingly, we signed Onana to be a ball-playing centre-back and be that third centre-back. Almost ball-playing centre-back, ball-playing keeper, but almost acts as a centre-back and build-up, and then he just keeps kicking it long. The reason we signed Onana, we're not using him for, so having a goalie like Onana that can play out from the back will also work under McKenna. But what I like about McKenna is the attacking structure. He likes to create 1v1 situations out wide and switch plays to wingers, and I like that. I think Bruno, Rashford, Manchester United attacking for, sort of transitional approach onto Ollie, what Ten Hag's trying to do will work well, and we've got players to do that. I think it's a very sort of attacking system. They like to attack Ipswich. They got the most goals last season. They're very good at that, and they like to attack wide. They like to be aggressive. They like to exploit space. They like to win the ball back and be able to transition against teams and catch them out with surprise. And again, I think out of possession, they're decent. Their high press is decent. One of the biggest criticisms of Ten Hag is why aren't the fullbacks committing to the press? The press isn't working. I think it's the third best in the Championship for possession, one in the final third, which again is something that United will need to work on. But of course, McKenna's a good coach, and I think his pressing is very good. And I think he obviously out of possession often drops into this 4-4-2 mid-block when necessary. And obviously, as I mentioned, his adaptability, he can adapt tactics, particularly from goal kicks. He changes his build-up approach. He's quite good at maintaining a good quality pressing structure, which is something we've lacked. And I think because our rest defence and pressing structure is so bad, is one of the reasons we're conceding a lot of shots. And potentially McKenna can fix that. Obviously, it's down to the players, the personnel as well. But there's a lot of things you can look into it as well. And he can shift to more combat mid-block, and he likes to create transition opportunities when leading or late in games. So let's sort of summarise the key points. Versatile, well-drilled tactics, both decent in defence and attack. He's young. He likes to develop the youth. And he has a good connection with Manchester United. He likes to combine attacking width, high pressing, tactical flexibility, and create a pretty balanced side. Now, to be honest, that's a very brief tactical approach to sort of how McKenna plays, but I hope it gives you an outline. I could do a more detailed one, But I'd leave the proper tacticians for that. I was thinking, how would McKenna use this current Man United squad? And people would be saying, well, it's probably the same as Ten Hag. Well, we don't have many good players, and we play a 4-2-3-1. The reason I put Amrabat there instead of Casemiro is because I think Amrabat is better on the ball than Casemiro, and he wants those sort of two players in the pivot to drop deep, pick up the ball from potentially Martinez and Maguire. Varane's obviously leaving, and I think Maguire's a little bit better on the ball than Varane, although Varane overall is a better centre-back. I put Ahmad in the middle because I think if he does play Ahmad, he would be playing more centrally. I think Garnacho or Rashford would be his wingers, potentially Ahmad on the right, switching with Bruno, or Elise on the right, switching with Bruno. There could be rotations there. Which brings me into what could happen. Now, Leif Davis is so important to Ipswich and what they do. So either Manchester United go for a left-back like Aït-Nouri, sort of does the Leif Davis role, Maatsen has potential to do it, and, you know, Delot pushes in possession as a right centre-back. But actually, when you look at the profiles of the Man United squad, I think McKenna could do it with the right back. So either Delot, or you could sign someone like Frimpong that we do really like, 35-minute release clause, push them high up the pitch, and then you've got Luke Shaw, who plays left back, that can tuck into left centre back. Malacia is comfortable playing centre back, left centre back, and there's loads of left backs on the market like Hato of Ajax, like Calafiori, like Anassi, that can play left back, can play left centre back. And to be honest, I think we need to sign one of them anyway, because Martinez and Luke Shaw can't stay fit. If you have an Anassi, or you have a Hato, or you have a Calafiori, they're kind of like Nathan Ake in the sense of they could do what Martinez does and they can do what Luke Shaw does to an extent. So that could potentially work. I think a second centre-back would be needed for depth, and centre-back that's good on the ball, good in build-up. I think a Todibo would suit that. We've been linked to Todibo. I think Lukami would suit that. And then I think DM, we need someone that can play in the pivot that's physical, but also good at progressing the ball. And I think that actually Fofana stands out a lot more than someone like Amadou Onana, and even Hulman for me in terms of technical ability. Right wing, I think it's just going to be Elise, because we really like Elise, to be honest. So I didn't bother putting much detail on that. He's Premier League proven. He's brilliant. Striker, we've been looking at Girassi, Tony, Hosselu. Apparently, so an older striker for support. Tony's a little bit more expensive. I think it could be a Girassi, Hosselu type player. Which brings me into what my picks would be. I think the lineup could look something like this. Shaw, Martinez, Todibo, Dalot, or Frimpong coming in potentially. Fofana, and maybe a João Gomez there for backup. Maino, Mount, I think would play more advanced. Bruno, Elise, Rashford, Højlund. And in possession, you could have Dalot or Frimpong sort of pushing up a little bit. Luke Shaw, Martinez, Todibo sort of forming that back three. Todibo's a very good wide channel defender. Luke Shaw's, you know, very capable when fit, but he doesn't seem to be fit. And I know people will be saying Rashford, why is Rashford there? But I think Rashford's going to have a good season next year. I do. I think that Rashford has it. Rashford has it in his locker, and that's why it's so frustrating that he ain't showing it this season. But we know Rashford has it. It's just, will Rashford show it? That's the question. Anyway, I hope this video was somewhat informing. I wanted to keep it brief. I wanted to keep it to the point. Here was just my thoughts and theories. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.